Hey everyone, as you know, Restoration Church, we love to hear each other's stories, especially now, right, where there's not much connection. We need to hear, what is God doing in each other's lives? If we don't hear that, we begin to think, is God doing anything, right? Is God actually continuing to change lives? And so that's why we love to hear each other's stories. And I'm here today with Hannah Gunther.
Hey guys.
So Hannah, thanks so much for coming in.
No problem.
And of course, we've been conversing back and forth in the last couple of months. Going back several months actually, kind of the journey that you've been on, probably in the last half a year ish.
Right. Yeah.
Really this crucial time of your faith and growing in what it means to have a relationship with Jesus. So, Hannah, I just wanted to kind of start off, just really broad question. What have you been going through? Like, what's been going on in your life?
Yeah, for sure. So a lot has been going on in my life. So I guess to kind of start from the beginning, I grew up in a Christian home. So being in a Christian home, you're kind of just taught things and they're kind of just given to you in terms of God, the Bible, your relationship to God, etc. So essentially, like, I had viewed Christianity as a religion for most of my life.
Yeah.
And so kind of throughout my life, I had realized that I never really made the genuine choice to really take that upon myself in terms of what Christianity means to me in my own life. So because of that, I kind of started to act in negative ways, just with either partying, relationships, kind of stuff like that. This is before I had kind of realized that I had never really made that genuine choice.
Yeah.
So eventually it came to a point where I needed to physically remove myself from my current home environment by moving out in order to kind of really feel like that I could actually like think critically and understand what it meant to be a Christian and kind of what that redefinition meant for me as an individual.
Yeah. Which is, not funny, but like we just went through a series called Redefining Religion.
Right.
Really exactly what you've been going through. And that's what we believe when someone meets Jesus, whether we read that in the Bible or still today, genuine faith in Jesus, everyone has this concept of what religion is and what it looks like. But there's this deconstruction of, okay, so this is what I thought it looked like, and now this is truly what Jesus shows me it is. And I think that's a lot of Christian kids growing up in Christian families, like they go through that, right? That's very common, including me. I had a Christian family. My parents taught me Christianity, and this is what faith is, but everyone has to make that decision for themselves, right? It can't just be something that this is my parents' faith. And I think a lot of people just kind of drift away because this was something my parents believed, but they never truly believed it. And so that's why I think it's so crucial that you're talking about this now and the journey that you've been on in the last, few months.
Right.
So what are some of the things that God is changing you or showing you or teaching you?
Yeah, so especially just for myself, I feel like I've been growing tremendously in terms of just me as an individual and also spiritually as well, obviously. So right now, I would say that I'm just currently in a season of rebuilding important relationships in my life. I am nowhere close to being arrived on some things, but I think the big thing that I had to learn was that that's okay.
Yeah.
I think the idea of process is something that's really important in Christian communities that I don't think is really talked about enough.
Yeah.
A lot of times I'd felt that when other people weren't doing well spiritually, like within the church or anything like that, they would kind of just write them off in negative ways, like within a church context. But I just think that it's important to understand that God's hand is not removed from us if we feel that we're not within a certain standard or expectation.
Right.
So that's really something that I had to learn and kind of come to grips with. But yeah, just overall, I've been rebuilding what Jesus means for myself and how that relates to other people and wanting to kind of build on a solid foundation of that understanding for myself.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. Because I think seeing as so many people, especially now, I feel like the pandemic gave people an opportunity to kind of step away from normal routine.
Right.
Be like, what is it that I truly believe?
Right.
Right. And so I think a lot of people have gone through, maybe not even in a healthy way as you have, this time of stepping away. What is it that I actually truly believe, and asking uncomfortable questions that maybe they've never asked themselves before. And I'm not sure the church has done a great job, like historically, where there is time of process, where someone's asking uncomfortable questions or questions of doubt. It's almost like, okay, you go figure it out, and then come back once you've got it figured out.
Exactly.
Right? Like that's an uncomfortable time to walk with someone through a time of process.
Yeah.
But I think that is the time. We're ending off our series, Redefining Religion.
Yes.
Right? And we're starting another series about the church as family. And so it's actually during those difficult moments of faith that is actually more crucial, not to be like, okay, you go and figure that out and then come back. Because guess what? Likely they're not coming back.
Right.
Right? It's actually crucial for both sides to actually lean into one another and process together. And I just think that's a healthier model, especially when you view the church as a family. And so, Hannah, I'm going to throw a surprise question at you.
Okay.
I didn't have you prepared for this
No.
one, but just kind of considering there's probably, I know that there's because I've been through different circumstances, but I've been through very similar circumstances to what you're talking about. And there's likely some people listening that are really resonating with what you're saying. Can you give them one encouragement as, during this time they're asking difficult questions about their faith? Give them one encouragement.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously you and I have kind of just had just talked about this, but just the whole idea of like when you're within that kind of process and that deconstruction of faith, I suppose, it's really easy just to become apathetic towards kind of just what you believe or everything that you've ever really known. Like there was a lot of times where I felt like I just really wanted to throw in the towel, be like, screw this, I'm just going to live my own life. Yeah. But I think the best piece of advice I would give is to really just keep persevering within that. It's an uncomfortable spot to be in. You don't really feel like you have any really solid foundation to kind of work off of. But I think if you're able to work through that and come to resolves and conclusions, there's going to be a much greater reward on the other side of it. Yeah. So that's what I would say. And then also, again, to people that are, if they're noticing kind of someone who is in that spot, to just really be present in that person's life. I remember 6 months ago when I was kind of in the midst of that, I really needed people. Yeah. And I needed people to be present. Yeah. So that's kind of what I would also say to people, that if they either know someone who's kind of struggling with that or sensing that someone is struggling with that in their life. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And I think that's really, really important, because what can happen is as soon as, we have this relationship with Jesus and all of a sudden there's a bump in it. Right. That we didn't expect. And we're like, oh man, I didn't picture this. And we're asking difficult questions like, forget it, I'm throwing it all out the window. Yeah. Right. And so thank you so much for that encouragement that I think is so relevant to probably a lot of your experiences that you're listening right now. So if you have resonated with what Hannah is saying, I would encourage you, send us a message on social media here, or go to the website, restoration-church.ca. You can fill out a connect card, and we would love to connect with you and just talk with you through that. So thanks, guys. Thank you, Hannah, for coming in, sharing your story and what you're going through right now. And also thanks, guys, for listening, and we'll see you next time.